Yo, guys, welcome back to Jerry Trucks Around. Once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. So I want to talk about a few things today. Actually, it's gonna be a little different, not that much. But yeah, let's I'm actually gonna go back and do the road trips because I thought that was a little easier for me to kind of not be thinking about completing a job. So I'm gonna be starting out I'm keeping it strictly in California for now, starting out around LA, and then moving up to Santa Cruz, going from there. Um, I did say I was gonna fix this whole window transition thing, but I don't have it down, man. I gotta find out how to do it. Anyways, so yeah, man. Let's jump. This is what we're gonna be looking at. So around LA, go up to Santa Cruz, and let's start. So like I said, this is gonna be a little different. Not, I mean, it's still gonna be me talking. A lot of nonsense, a lot of nothing, man, and going the wrong way, but who cares? Let me just get some gas here because I'm a little bit low. So yeah, man, there you go. Let's go. So the reason I'm saying it's gonna be a little different today, is because I'm gonna talk about some of my ideas. Kind of, not, I guess, ideas, beliefs based on what I've kind of talked about already, regarding, aliens and all that stuff. So, man, hear me out. And I want to hear you out because that's what believes you, dude. You listen to someone, you hear something, you think that's what it is, right? But it's always good to hear other ideas, man, because building on top of them, that's how we grow, man. You can't stay still. You can't stay on, living off of one single idea. So, man, I'm gonna jump this because I don't know where the exit is. Psh, Mexican style, man. There we go. All right. So yeah, man. My beliefs, man. So I mean, I've already mentioned this. I do believe in extraterrestrial life one way or another, right? Maybe there's some intelligent beings out there. I don't know, man. There's a possibility. I surely believe there's a possibility, right? Who cares about the tickets? We got moolah, you know what I mean? So yeah, man. I believe in that. And when you start to read all these books, some of those books are actually were never made it, to the Bible, the big cut, the director's cut, you know what I mean? But they were supposed to be there, and they didn't. And one of those is the Book of Enoch. You know what I mean? The Nephilim. You know what's up. So pretty much, and angels coming down, to let's just skip this red light. Let's go ahead and another ticket. Who cares? So yeah, man, all these angels coming down, and making sweet, sexy love to the beings on Earth, right? And they're then all of a sudden there's this new kind of sapien, right, thing on Earth. So man, right away we even the old texts, right, they start talking about things coming from the sky, you know what I mean? um and it's not just that, we look at the Aztecs, the Maya, the Toltecs, the Olmecs, all these cats, they had the same, pretty much the same belief, right? It came from the sky, and we start to look at that. So when you kind of start looking into that, all right, makes sense, right? Does it make sense? That we must have come from another place. And why wouldn't it make sense, Um, I'm gonna divert from any, religious beliefs or anything like that. Let's just talk about, you know, the possibilities, the what ifs, Let's not get into religion. Let's just get into pseudoscience, because we're not gonna be spitting facts over here. We're just talking. You know what I mean? So, what if, what if, you know, our water must have come from somewhere? You know, the moon must have looked quite differently today from what it looks like. Mars, man, don't get me started on Mars. There's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of weird evidence, man. Water, maybe a possibility of an ancient civilization, man. So when you start to get into that, like I did, and it's fun stuff to look at, man. There's a lot of coincidences, these quinky dinkies, that start to come up, and one of the things that I got into, right? Because you cannot just get into one thing and dismiss the other stuff. When you start getting into all these, uh, alien races, the types, the alien types, the extraterrestrial types, right, that are supposed to be out there. Oh, sorry guys, I was looking at the map. But when you start to look at them, there's the reptilians and the what do you call it, the Norse, and all these different types, right? There's the one with the bug-looking things, right? And I'll tell you guys a story about that in a few, but man, they had to come from somewhere, right? Something like that has to exist. Our own biology, our history, our, if we came from bacteria or whatever we came from, whatever it was, right? The single cell organisms, whatever it was, it had to come from somewhere, and wherever it came from, it has to exist right now. Or maybe they don't exist anymore. Maybe they didn't evolve like we did, right? Maybe they had organisms, but maybe they didn't have the correct place in their own solar system to grow like we did. Evolution. So yeah, man, that's one thing. And you got to start looking at a lot of these, what would be kind of be under esoteric stuff, right? When it comes to astrology and ghosts and all these things, man. you start to see a certain connection, and I'll tell you why. Um, I'm no name dropping, no anything. It's just stories, right, that I've heard from people. So, coming back to one of the races that I mentioned, right, the Nordics, right? Um, there's a story that I got told by someone that when they were sick, that it's a long time ago. They were sick, right? And they saw a blonde, tall, blonde person come into their house at night, right? Just kind of energetically flowing, right? Just kind of there. They're just there. And this person mentions that they didn't feel any fear, they didn't feel any negative emotion with that being, right? They didn't feel any they didn't feel scared. That's it, right? And I guess they kind of embraced the moment, right? This being didn't do anything, it didn't talk, it just came over, stood over them, and moment went away, they fell asleep. Next day, whatever sickness they had, right? Because they were sick, remember they were sick. Next day, nothing. They were all right. They were 100% healthy. Nothing at all, right? And obviously, this person had religious background, religious beliefs. So when they talk about it like being, God coming onto them. But then you start hearing all these stories, right, about similar figures, right? Tall, blonde, radiant, right? Powerful, but good. Like extremely good, right? And not all of them talk about the same thing. Being sick and later on just kind of turning healthy, right? After this being's visit, you know what I mean? So, man, once again, there's a lot of coincidence, to that. We talk about vibrations and all of that, which is something that I'm actually into. I'm into frequencies and all that stuff, because it makes sense. It's not even about weird, crazy beliefs anymore. It's just, string theory. What is it? We're frequencies. You know what I mean? And so one of the things I started to get into are binaural beats, right? I think that's what they're called, binaural beats. I started to get into them, right? I played them, there's one for a headache, right? There's a binaural beat for a headache. I popped it in, started listening to it, and whether it's oh man, how can you call it? Whether it's something that works or it doesn't, I started noticing feeling a little bit different, feeling a little bit better when listening to these frequencies, right? And man, they help. And it makes sense, right? We're liquid, we're frequency. That's us. That's who we are, right? We're just frequencies, man. Once you understand that, a lot of things start to make sense. So why am I mentioning this as well with the aliens, right? If these beings can manipulate time or whatever they're manipulating, at the end of the day, they're pretty much manipulating frequencies, right? Um, what we understand as time, space, whatever, it's frequencies. It's all frequency, right? Um, so it makes sense that we would be able to be cured with noise, right? Maybe. Maybe not. We're just talking, you know what I mean? Possibility. Man, by the way, this view is nice, man. This is nice. And so why not, you know? I mean, music, there's healing music, man. It definitely works for me. I don't know if it works for other people, but it works for me. You know what I mean? Aliens, man. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not? It being alone in the universe is not, I mean, for some people it's terrifying. It's not for me, you know. But I find it a little bit impossible that we would be the only ones, right? Alone in the whole universe. I don't buy that, you know. And it's definitely gonna take some time, you know, to actually get a good trip to go to another one of those planets they've recently found, right? That are similar to ours. It's gonna take a while, man. We haven't even been, you know, to Mars yet as people, as you know. There haven't been any human beings on Mars yet, you know. Hopefully someone can prove me wrong, man, and someone hits the space road. That'd be great. So yeah, man, I wanted to talk about, you know, that for today. Just random beliefs, a little bit different. Probably start getting into you know, all these you know, things. There's a lot of stories that I've heard, you know, that are pretty wild. So we'll be talking about them, you know. Gonna go ahead and take a small break, and oh man, Tokyo Drift. What's up with that? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take a small break, and we'll come back in a few on a different video. And yeah, we'll go from there. This is Jerry Trucks Around. Like and subscribe. See y'all later.